you get into the tractor and plough all day, it makes a big difference for getting in and out, you know, 50 to 100 times in the day, you know what I mean? Like.
Step by step, I've walked 100 miles and I still ain't sure just what I'm trying so hard to find. The night seems longer and the wind blows louder when you wandered so far from home. If I cross your mind, say a prayer, I'll find my way and get off of this lonely road. Off of this lonely road, 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 off of this lonely road.
My name is Ryan Boyle, part of J. Wilson Agri Contracts. We're ploughing here today with 2 Amazon ploughs just outside Armoy. We're ploughing for potatoes for customer John Henry. Sort of cover most things: slurry, reseeding, ploughing, one pass sowing, silage, really anything that needs to be done. We moved to Amazon ploughs, I suppose, last spring we bought the first one. Then we had one for the springtime, and then we bought the slatted board plough late on at the tail end there, I suppose September, October time. We done the back end ploughing with her. Whenever got the first one, if she pleased us, we were always going to buy a second one because she had the same parts for the 2 of them, you know. And thankfully she did please us, so that's why the 2 of them's here. John does 90% of the ploughing and is more patience than I'll ever have for it, but he will clean if the moldboards are sticking at all, he's out cleaning them. But she will plough and she will do a good enough job if you don't clean them, but that's not how we operate, you know. The first one we bought was solid 28 boards, or the same as 28 boards. They call them different. They're more or less the same as a 28 board. She has full spec, like full hydraulic variwood, hydraulic cross shaft, and anything that could be got on her as on her type of thing, you know. And then the second one, she's just exactly the same, apart from she's the slatted board bodies. We do a brave wee bit of ploughing for potatoes and stuff, and the slatted board would run a lot cleaner, so it saves getting it an empty dig, you know. We haven't all been the solid board. You have the wee bits in the middle there, so that, you know, there are more flex in the board, and then with the gaps in them, that's letting the soil, it's not staying stationary on the board, it's passing through it, so it is. Well, this soil here, you know, it's really, really good soil, brilliant for potatoes. It's sort of like homing land here, but that's the type of soil that you will get that'll stick in moldboards. The better the soil, the more risk you'll have of sticking it on the moldboards. Although we do find that solid board Amazon, we think, would run cleaner than the solid board Givernum we had. Don't know why, but we just find that it does run cleaner. The man that we do the ploughing for here, he wants us to plough normally the opposite way from what he's drilling, because he thinks the ridge is better going the opposite way. So sometimes you hate to maybe make points or start somewhere different or whatever, you know, but get your straight hedge and your longest run, and, you know, normally always go for that. But if we were ploughing, you know, like if we were ploughing this ground again for one passing, we would try and plough it the opposite way from we've ploughed it this time. It sort of levels it a wee bit again, you know. I actually think there's less maintenance in them ploughs than our previous. Even the discs, there are no grease nipples in the discs of that plough, so it's just sealed bearings in them. All the hinge points on her all has grease nipples, which I think will be as a really good job. The last one, there was a lot of the places that was doing a lot of wear and had no grease nipples on them or no way of greasing them. You know, they just wore to the come slack. But that there's well accessible with grease points for the variwood points, so I think that should be a good job. Like, normally you couldn't really run the 2 of them together. Here's fine because the soil's that light. There's little difference in it, you know. But if you're in somewhere, you know, like heavier ground, it's hard to get the 2 ploughs to match up this identical same, you know. But that's the same across all makes or models, you know. I suppose when we got the demonstrator, that sealed it really. We were well impressed with her, and after we get the demonstrator out, I think we put in an order for one the next day or the day after it, to be honest. We noticed the output with the ploughs is definitely a vast improvement, and that's purely because you don't have to get in and out. The last plough, depending on where you are, you could have been out 50 times to 100 times a day, and when you count that over a period of time, you're losing out on a lot of acres, like, really. Whereas, like, honestly, them ploughs there, you get in and you drop them into the ground and go and set them, and that's it. Like, you know, the output's definitely a big, that's one of the big advantages that we see. Like, Mullinagry is just literally, they're just about 3 mile away from our own yard, which is a big plus. Now, I was very friendly with the boys before they ever started that business, and sometimes you can be reluctant to, well, you want to buy if your friends or no, because there are plenty of days things can get heated, but they are doing a great job, and with them sitting on our doorstep, definitely a big plus for us. You know, if you need something, 2 minutes you're up in the yard, you know, and it's great that way, definitely is.
Get off of this lonely road.